And then Gary or Danny, you want to hand those out, whoever, here in a minute?
Yep.
All right, you can click on her.
Oh, yeah.
All right, first of all, I'm Sheriff Blue with the Henry County Sheriff's Office, and I'm going to let everybody from right to left tell exactly who they are, and everybody up here was on scene yesterday.
Adam Jenkins, Captain with the Sheriff's Office.
Investigator Gary Vander from Sheriff's Office.
I'm Damon Lowe, Chief Deputy.
Scott Warwick, investigator with CID here at the Sheriff's Office.
Lieutenant Daniel Powell, Sheriff's Office.
Myself and a team of investigators responded to 2465 Dale Cemetery Road yesterday morning. 2465 Dale Cemetery Road. We're responding to that address to a tip of animal abuse of large scale. They thought at this time the anonymous complaint were really more concerned about the things that they could see, the roosters and the chickens kept in small cages and things of that nature. So we were going out to investigate that situation, and as we pulled up to the scene, I was walking up a trail. And when I say a trail, it's full of, the whole front yard is full of pens and kennels and knee-high to waist-high grass in places. I mean, this is not yard of the month. It's you have to weave your way through some debris and grass to get to the front door. As we are weaving our way to the front door, I get approximately 15 yards from the front door, and the front door is propped open. As I look through the front door, I can see a child in a dog kennel. Obviously, the looks of the kennel, you could tell the child stays in there a lot. So we announced our presence and entered the trailer. As we entered the trailer, you could see a lot of things going on inside the trailer. In the living room that we walked in, as you walk in the front door, the living room of the single-wide trailer contained the playpen, which is very small. What were the exact sizes of it, Scott? Do you remember?
Oh, it's probably no more than 5x4 or 4x4.
Yeah, 4x4 cage, and it had some pizza boxes up on top. As we walked through the front door, this is what you saw. The child, and as you can see, the shocking thing of it is throughout the whole trailer, there's no toys, there's no blankets, there's no anything. Everything that child possessed or played with was in this kennel right here. Everything was in it right there. So you can obviously tell by the wear and the tear on everything on the ground level, and then all of the things that were in it. That child spends a lot of time caged up in this kennel. As you can see right here, these buckets, there were 3 buckets leaned up against the child's kennel. All of these buckets had mice in them. About 3 foot to the left of it was a 10-foot boa constrictor inside the same room. There were also 7 other snakes, which 2 of them were right above the child's head, right up here. So inside a single wide trailer, there are 8 snakes in the basic living room. I don't know how many mice. I'm going to say 150 to 200 mice maybe. Mice and rats, hamsters inside the living room. And I'm going to say 15 to 20 dogs running loose. There's feces on the floor. There is no flooring in some places. There are thousands of cockroaches, maggots. The kitchen is unlivable. I can't believe people could actually survive and live in these unlivable conditions. And and it's, with all the law enforcement years of experience up here, it's hard to find something that actually shocks us. It's hard to find something that will shock my conscience that says, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. Well, I've never seen this before, and I can guarantee you none of these gentlemen up here with me have seen this before either. Something to this effect, where you've kept a child in a pen, caged up in a room with 8 snakes. As we started to investigate more, there was a gentleman that came from our left out of a block building that approached us. He wound up being the stepfather. And there was a woman living in a back bedroom, and then an older gentleman, and I'll give you their names in just a minute, that was at the other end of the trailer as well. The child was unoccupied. But as the investigation went on, the child was a 1.5-year-old child. We did call immediately Department of Children's Services. Department of Children's Services came to the scene and were shocked as well, and it became an immediate removal. As the investigation went on, we discovered the subject did have an outdoor marijuana grow there as well. We wound up seizing 127 marijuana plants yesterday. We also seized 17 guns from the premises as well. 17 guns. One of the guns that was in the block building where he had immediate access and control to was a AR-15. The subject that we're talking about is a T.J. Brown, 46-year-old of that address, and he is a convicted felon and will be charged for that gun. As the day went on, we obviously saw that we needed help with these animals, and I'll tell you more about this group later, but the Animal Rescue Corporation, Animal Rescue Corps out of Lebanon, Tennessee, responded to our location. They were here earlier in the week as well, where we had another situation where they took 45 dogs, I think Tuesday, they took 45 dogs out of Henry County. That investigation is ongoing as well. But let me give you a list of the animals that we took off of the property yesterday at 2465 Dale Cemetery Road. And it's a lengthy list, so bear with me. And all of these animals were taken due to the fact that they were living in terrible conditions. They were dehydrated. They had skin conditions. We did find some dead animals on the scene, and they were very not, just absolutely not cared for. So off of the property yesterday, we took 86 chickens and roosters, 56 dogs. One of the dogs went into labor last night, so now we have, I haven't heard the good word this morning, but I'm sure we've probably got over 60 dogs now. So we took 10 rabbits, 4 parakeets, 3 cats, 8 snakes, 1 pheasant, 531 mice, rats, and hamsters. Mice, rat, and hamsters, and they were all in like cages. But it was. I'm gonna tell you something. I've never been a person that's going to own a mice, rat, or I did. My kids used to have some hamsters, and it will break your heart to see what these hamsters were living in. Just terrible. We took 1 Geico. And then 3 sugar gliders. I was hungry, I guess. 3 sugar gliders. And they are like, Chief Lowe is determined they are like similar to a flying squirrel. We took 127 marijuana plants and 17 guns.
How many marijuana plants?
127. 127. The 3 people that are being charged right now are Heather Scarborough, Heather Scarborough, 42 years of age, from that residence. T.J. Brown from that residence as well, 46-year-old. And a Charles Brown of that residence, 82-year-old. The charges that they were charged with at this point were aggravated child abuse, which is a Class A felony. Aggravated child abuse, Class A felony. Aggravated cruelty to animals. Possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. A felon in possession of a weapon. That will be strictly charged with T.J. Brown. Manufacturing of marijuana. Possession of drug paraphernalia. And then cruelty to animals as well. Cruelty to animals. I would like to say this is an ongoing investigation. There may be more charges come at some point in time over the next few days. Each defendant has a $300,000 bond, and they will appear in Henry County General Sessions Court June the 30th, next Tuesday, at 9 a.m. But each are being held at this time in our correctional facility here on a $300,000 bond. There are some thank yous that I need to get out. I would like to say thank you so much to our DA's office. The district attorney himself, General Stowe, was on the scene most of the day. Also, our assistant DA in Henry County in charge, Rebecca Griffey, is going to be the prosecuting attorney on this. She was on the scene as well and helped in the recovery of a lot of the animals. Rebecca Griffey will be the prosecuting attorney. Dr. Neal and the parish and his staff, Dr. Neal and the parish veterinary clinic staff came to the scene and assist Animal Rescue Corps. Dr. Neal is a blessing as a veterinarian to this community. He came to the scene and stayed till every mouse, hamster, dog was physically examined, each one at the scene and rescued. So thank you so much to Dr. Neal and his staff. And I can't say enough about the Animal Rescue Corporation. They sent 18 volunteers to our county yesterday. This is twice in 1 week that they have come to our rescue. I haven't even added the total animals that they took last night, but between everything and the 45 dogs that they took earlier in the week, they have helped us tremendously. A rural West Tennessee county, we run an animal shelter. We have the Henry County Sheriff's Office animal shelter, but we cannot handle 56 dogs in one night and 45 dogs on Tuesday as well. So we would absolutely be overloaded. They came to the scene with equipment, with supplies, with evidentiary collecting equipment. They've got great photography of all the animals. So we thank them so much. We could not have done this without that group right there. We owe a big thank you to the Animal Rescue Corporation. With that being said, I will say this. A lot of the chickens and the rabbits were dispersed here in Henry County. We're keeping some of the animals here through private individuals, and they're housing some of the animals for us. The Animal Rescue Corporation is handling all of the dogs, cats. TWRA came to the scene. I'd like to say thank you to TWRA as well. They're handling the snakes. So thank you to TWRA as well. TWRA is handling the snakes, and the Animal Rescue Corporation is handling the mice, the rats, the hamsters, and the dogs, and which was a huge feat in itself. But like I said, the biggest thing I'd like to iterate is the when you walk up to a trailer thinking that you're going to investigate an animal cruelty case, and you already see that it's going to be an animal cruelty case as you approach the residence, and then you see this young man, a 1.5-year-old child, and Chief Lowe is going to hand out some other pictures of the marijuana plants and a picture of the child and some pictures of the dogs that were in a cage and things of that nature. It'll just be shocking to you. But when you're seeing a 1.5-year-old child, I don't care how many years you've been in law enforcement, I don't care what you've done, and every toy that child has got is in that cage. It's just not supposed to be that way. Have y'all got anything to add? We've got anything?
Just I wish there's a way we could portray the odor that was inside this home. Obviously, as we disassembled the kennel or the crate or the cage, whatever you want to call it, just the urine and ammonia smell that was from inside the cage was just unreal.
Also, we
transported
the evidence back, all the weapons in this cage when we disassembled it. When we got it back here, we couldn't bring everything in the building because of the roaches and the bugs. We've had to make other arrangements to store the evidence.
It's a hollow tube cage, and there's actually roaches crawling out of the hollow tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to bring it in here.
There was a little board across the top of it. As you can see, pizza boxes are all up on top. There was cockroaches and ants and everything crawling on top of right there where his head, over the roof.
His diaper was loaded, full, wet, been on for some time.
Did he look like he'd been fed well? Was he?
He appeared to have been fed. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about.
Didn't
as far
appear to be
as
malnourished. Of course,
fear-
DCS was going to get him a full examination, and but
He had some rashes on his legs from the diaper.
How are those three people related?
one of them's a dad and son, and then the T.J. Brown and Heather aren't married, but they're, I guess, boyfriend girlfriend.
TJ's
She the mother?
Yeah, she's the mother. Yeah,
and he's the stepfather?
stepfather.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talked about the snakes. Are the snakes in the cage? Are they just running loose as well?
No, they weren't running loose. They were most of them were in like aquarium type stuff, just with different stuff propped up on top of them. Some of them had a little piece of tin, just propped up on top of them, or some of them had, just book. Some of them had books stacked on top of them. But I'm not very versed in snakes, but the 10-foot one was just, it was just, I know the thing could have got out of the pen. It's literally this big around. It's huge. We had a snake man that came here from TWRA, and he's like, man, I don't know if I can handle that big one. I was like, well, somebody's going to have to. But it was unbelievable. Just thinking that you're storing in a single wide trailer in the living room. You've got a kid caged. You've got 8 snakes, and then you've got the snake's feed butted up against the child's cage. Not that the child in the cage is enough, but 8 snakes in the same room, and then mice running everywhere. We wound up collecting, like I said, 531 mice, rats, and hamsters. And we don't know exactly. Obviously, they may have been selling some of those. They may have been using some of those for feed. We don't know exactly the reason 531 of them were there on the scene. But that's a lot of mice, rats, and hamsters. And just like Lieutenant Wyrick Scott said and Gary said, just the mere condition of the inside of the house, the smell of ammonia, the roaches, the feces on the floor, just the totality of it is just shocking. But the most shocking thing of all of us, and I think it will be your viewers and listeners as well, will be that you've got a child locked in a cage that doesn't have any socialization. It doesn't appear to be other than in that cage, and it's got 8 snakes in the same room with it.
Had y'all ever gotten any complaints about this place before? Do you have any idea how long these people have lived here?
The older gentleman, Mr. Brown, I think has lived there for quite some time. I think once his son moved in, and that's T.J. Brown, I think things started deteriorating, but I think it has deteriorated over the last decade, maybe, from what we got yesterday. But I have not dealt with him personally at all. I think, Lieutenant Wyatt, you were talking about we'd had a marijuana grow there years ago,
Father, right.
but the father, and that was about, how long ago was that?
That was in '96.
In '96. So the father had a marijuana grow back then. But I don't know of any particular cause we've been on. It's a very rural part of the county. You're not very far from the state line, Kentucky state line. And the road, Dale Cemetery Road, is not a very traveled road, at all. There's not very much traffic on it whatsoever. And I'll be honest with you, I think the people that do pass by there, the living conditions were so grown up that you could see the pens and the kennels out front, and people thought that it was just chickens and roosters, because that's what they had a lot of. They had, 86 of them in their front yard, and they were all caged up, though. So people just thought, I guess they just lived that way. Nobody had any idea that there was a year-and-a-half-old child living inside that residence, and then nobody really thought about what the inside of that trailer may look like. Here's General Stowe now, if you want to come up or answer any questions.
Have you spoken? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, what was the reaction from these people who you arrested? I mean, were they surprised? Did they?
Well, I mean, they were kind of the point to me that they wanted to, they can't believe that we're interfering. They just wanted to live their life and be free. And we were trying to explain to them that there's a norm that you have to follow, and you are definitely outside this norm. We want you to be free. We want you to live your life in this rural part of the county as you see fit. But you cannot put your animals in this condition, and God forbid you can't put a child in this position. General Stowe, as I said earlier, General Stowe was on the scene with us just about all day yesterday, catching helping. Anyway, General Stowe, would you like to come up?
Sure.
Yeah.
Did it break your heart when you walked in and saw this kid in his cage?
Yeah.
You got kids. How was it?
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, it's sad because me and the sheriff were talking earlier. In short, the child was living just as every other animal was on the property, in a cage in filth, and that's what it boiled down to.
And then I'll tell you another shocking thing is I was talking to some of these people that we arrested yesterday, especially TJ. He didn't ask about the child. He asked about whether he was going to be able to get his animals back. Never said a word to me about the child whatsoever.
What was he previously convicted of?
It's out of Florida, and I'm not.
He's had a weapon charge and another possession charge, felonies.
You touched on it briefly. I mean, do you think this place was like an animal mill, or was it just them hoarding animals?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he does a lot of selling and trading and working through different flea markets. And this guy doesn't have the 82-year-old gentleman is obviously retiring. I think Mr. Brown is just unemployed, and doesn't want to work, so he trades and whatever he does with the animals and I don't think he's real self-motivated. He told us that the reason the kid was in the cage is he cleaned up around the house and in the yard all day, and he couldn't clean up and watch the kid too, so he puts the kid in the cage. And if you'll get some pictures of it or drive by, I think you'll see that nothing has been cleaned up. But yeah, to answer your question, though, absolutely, it's heartbreaking. Terrible.
You said the
Terrible.
explanation of why the kid was in the cage. Was that the Charles Brown who said that? Or
No,
TJ
that was T.J. Brown.
TJ Brown. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the charges you listed, are they charges all three faced except the felony possession of weapons? That's just TJ.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're charging all three of them at this time
Gotcha.
on General Stowe's counsel, and like I said, there could be and probably will be some more charges coming, or definitely counts. we don't know the exact counts yet because we're going to have to, they didn't roll out of there last night till 10:30, 10:45. So once we get the full examinations from the vets and things of that nature, we're going to see what exactly charges we've got that will be aggravated animal cruelty and the ones that will fall under the cruelty to animal statute. So, General Stowe, I'll turn it over to you a minute if you got any questions for General Stowe or comments.
I just wanted to say that I'm here just to show solidarity with the people of Henry County. This is a tragic situation. It's a heartbreaking situation. And I think perhaps most shocking is it's something that can happen right close to home. So I just want to take a second to talk about child abuse and animal cruelty generally. These things oftentimes can be hidden, especially when one is in a remote and rural area. But even in an urban area, the truth is we never really know what our neighbors next door are doing. And it's important that this serve as a warning and a reminder to everyone to keep an eye out, to if you see something that seems out of place, to let someone know, especially with what's been going on with the virus these days. We are not getting as many reports of animal abuse, of child abuse, because people aren't out as much, children aren't in school. And it's very important that the public, even if it seems like it may not be that big of a deal, that if they see something that seems out of place, if they have concern for a child, if they have concern for an animal, that the public let us know. And that will ensure that we don't have future days where we have to feel the way that we feel today. And other than that, I'll just tell you that the prosecutors and support staff of the 24th Judicial District are working hand in hand with the Henry County Sheriff's Office. I am sure that Monty had every resource available to him on the scene. There were a lot of people there working. He immediately recognized the seriousness of the situation. And also we want to thank the Animal Rescue Corporation. They have done a tremendous job in assisting law enforcement with the rescue of these animals, and of course Child Protective Services that got there and took care of the situation as quickly as possible. And with that, unless there's a specific question, I'll turn things back over to the sheriff.
Is the child still with Child Protective Services right now?
It is my belief, yes, that the child is still with Child Protective Services right now.
Is there any family members that the child was returned to or anything like that?
I may not be the best person to ask that question to, because I am not the last person, I think, to talk to them. Do you know?
I'll just say that we're investigating that possibility.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with DCS this morning. We did have a possibility on that, I believe.
I can tell you Tennessee law favors returning children to their parents. Now, that does not mean that's going to happen in this situation. That just means that's what the law favors. And then, of course, family members. So I am sure that if they haven't found one yet, they will be looking for a relative family member or someone of that nature to care for the child. There were a lot of animals that were rescued by law enforcement and Animal Rescue Corporation yesterday, but none of that happened until everyone had done everything that they could to make sure that the child was safe.
How's the child been reacting to all this? What's his condition this morning?
Well, the child yesterday, when we first dealt with the child, it was really nonverbal. It didn't have a lot of reaction to us at all. Thank goodness we had a female deputy on the scene with us, and I think the young man took a liking to her, and they developed an immediate relationship, and she stayed with him and took care of him and changed his diaper and fed him and things of that nature until Department of Children's Services got there. And then, of course, they've taken the child. We haven't had any contact since. Just a sad situation.
Basically, as soon as the child was able to get out of the kennel in the cage, the child physically went to the female officer with open arms. So.
And he's been the same with Department of Children's Services that I've spoken with. He seems to be kind of happy, they say.
Good.
When I posted the story yesterday on our say, on our Facebook page, somebody commented that they had seen these people with the snakes at the fairgrounds, exotic animals.
I got you.
over the
Okay.
weekend. Is that,
Yeah, that's very possible. Have no idea.
you know, not that?
But that seems appropriate. I wouldn't doubt it. They had a lot of animals on scene. So, 127 marijuana plants, 17 guns, 86 chickens, 56 dogs. One went into labor last night, right after you left. So now we've got probably over 60. 10 rabbits, 4 parakeets, 3 cats, 8 snakes, 1 pheasant, 431 mice, rabbits, and hamsters, 1 gecko, and 3 sugar gliders. Never seen animals like that before on a piece of property. But anyway, has anybody got any other questions?
Yeah, you said the child has some rashes. Any other health conditions or anything that's visible?
I mean, not from us. I mean, obviously, I didn't see any immediate marks or scars or blunt force trauma or anything, along that lines. So we just wanted to get the child some immediate care. It did appear to be very hungry, the way he took food from us and was very, you can tell when a child, I think, is starving for attention.
There was actually, there was actually, you can't see it in that picture, an open chip bag that was just laid in the cage with the child.
Yeah, over in this corner or
So,
somewhere right there.
very easily, the child could have got that chip bag and placed it over its head or anything of that nature, but there was just literally an open bag of chips in there with the child that didn't have any chips in it.
But like I said, the shocking thing is you can tell, you can go all throughout this trailer and as much filth and just clothes in the floor and dog feces and just leftover food and pizza and just stuff just everywhere. I just don't know how to describe it. I've got some videos on my phone I'll be glad to show you, but it's just unbelievable. And then everything that this child had to play with, or it appeared to be childlike materials or toys or anything that child could handle or play with, was inside that 4x4 pen. And that's it. And then you can tell by the, like you said, Lieutenant Wyatt, when we lifted this up and brought this in, the ammonia smell and the bugs and the bugs on top of it. I mean, leftover pizza boxes and mice cages and 8 snakes in a room with your kid. Anyway.
Y'all said T.J. Brown's previous charges might have come out of Florida. Do you know specifically where in Florida?
I don't know exactly what time it was. I know he has a
I do not know.
possession
Okay.
charge and a weapon charge.
Yeah, that's what made him a convicted felon. But we apologize for the delay. We would have loved to have done this last night, but literally they pulled out at 10:30, 10:45. We still don't know the counts on the charges because they were physically examining each animal and documenting everything last night with photograph and video, and then it was an all-day ordeal. And then we've still got a lot of work these men appear have to do, and General Stone prosecuting the case. So we're just getting started.
So all this was discovered yesterday?
Sir?
All this was discovered yesterday?
Yes, it started at 8:50 yesterday morning.
Just to make sure, the child is a boy, right?
A boy.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Can you spell Heather Scarborough's real quick?
Heather, Heather, and then Scarborough is Scarbough. Scarbough, 42-year-old.
What is TJ's fault?
Thomas Jefferson. Yeah, Brown. Thomas Jefferson Brown.
I've got copies of the written press release I can give you guys.
Yeah, and that's got some additional information on it as well. And then if you all want booking photos, if you all would get with Captain Jenkins and let them know your email address, and we'll send you booking photos as well. Other than that, thank you all for coming. I hope everybody has a great Friday and a good weekend. All right? Thank y'all. Thank you, John.
Give you a
Yeah,
number
you
for
guys
this?
just write it down.
I'll have a bunch of them back and forth. I was just calling to confirm, so.
Oh, well, it worked out.
It worked out. Yeah, no, every client, it seems like you did a great job. What did I miss at the beginning?